That is to say, when you find yourself in this static state, you can observe this by clicking on this particular type of spin. Please consider a parameter that allows for self-option. After that, we can also see that there are three kinds of it, that is, node change, that is, no magnetism, no spin, and then this spin. The focus here is on the contribution of the spin direction, considering only this aspect. Or up and down, there are only two directions, downward word weight and downward word weight. And then, this is the spin planning rate. Because if we only consider one direction, there are only two kinds, positive and negative, and then the self-study instant rate can only reach the absolute value at most. First, it should also mean a few percent. Now, if the value is 0.1, it relates to the previously reported location. 0.1. Following this, we have string words. In the absence of this magnetic atom, we can assign it a value of 0. Essentially, what we are doing here is providing the system with an initial value. Give the system an initial value. If it is referred to by other references, you can set this initial value according to other people's literature, so that it will be more conducive to the convergence of calculation. This contributes to spin effects and considered appropriately. A general self-choice is that it actually... Is it a contribution? Could it be going in either direction? Then this is an ER. Find the one under the coordinate system. Self-learning represents a melting rate quantity. Then we also see that this TA is its 5 of that angle, which is the other two coordinates to find the coordinates. Then this is equivalent to the size of the self-selected plan. Similarly, we can also modify this. Change to video 1 and then change to 0 here. This involves the spin-orbit interaction, which can also be examined. A self-selected contribution will not be accounted for. If you consider this general information, you can take this together. And then we have another aspect. Well, let's talk about this LDA plus U. Yes, indeed. System. It's the cushion that functions effectively, whether it's a ground electron or an F electron. Then he will have a system and he will have a... There is such a function of relatively strong exchange correlation, and then if you use the general DFT calculation, some of its strong correlation effects may be ignored, and then some may be underestimated, so we have to manually build a rental house to compensate for it. Defining this U quality accurately can be complex. There is no very good such a method to determine what the U value is, because some students may look at different documents and find that some documents have added 1.5 and some documents have added 2.0 anyway. Different literature may add this U quality differently. It is also just an empirical one. The reference value isn't absolute. It doesn't simply assign 10 points to decide the magnitude of U. This depends on different situations and different needs to determine what impact this U will have on the system you're studying and how much impact it will have. Regarding this addition of U, You can search for some quality to see how to add this oil. In the event that other parameters are configured accordingly. Essentially, all of them are compatible with the earlier versions. The calculations are almost the same using the default general type if it appears. After adding the word, after considering the magnetism, its calculation is not easy to converge such a case. We can go modify this. This particular parameter is designed for experimental purposes, and this mixing rate is applied for testing purposes spanning from the larger scale to community-level applications. What is the specific meaning of this? Is there any possible avenue to consult an engineer for further clarification? They possess greater expertise and proficiency. From the Wangxiao, it has decreased significantly from 0.22 to 0.05, and even further to 0.002. What the hell? Market size. After setting all these parameters, proceed to the next step. Click on these files and wait for the process to complete. Under this mindset, proceed with the calculation and enter the next stage. Can you take it to see if it is semiconductor or gold, conductor or insulator? Then the calculation of this energy band is the same as what I mentioned before. The method is the same, and then let's take a look at this calculated energy. Shows us that it is divided into two. It's separated into one spin up and one spin down. Electron. Let's pick these two. If this condition persists, such separation indicates the presence of magnetism within the system. If the configuration shows all spins in one direction, it suggests a certain level of magnetism. They all coincide, and if no point is divided into the bottom, it means that the system does not contain females. Hence, if a system contains females, it may be divided into two categories of electrons, one with upward weight and the other with downward weight. Then in the thermoelectric book transportation, at present these two types of electrons are. View them individually. Just the electron from the front up. Its thermoelectric properties along with those of electrons under the assets. Then consider them separately and then consider them together. For example, the calculation rate is spin up. The calculation rate of electrons and the calculation rate of electrons with spin down are added to get the total electrical conductance calculation rate. Well, then if it is the Cyber K coefficient, it may be 1. Based on this software, it calculates a weighted average of computer rates. Assess. Namely the computer rate of upward moving electrons and the front up coefficient also. The computer rate of downward spin becomes the Seebeck coefficient of downward spin and then divided by the PC rate on the selection plus the PC rate on the selection down. That is to say, he is a weighted average of this, and then classmates can go and verify the calculation in their software yourself. It is the result of selecting thermoelectricity. Then this has the potential to lead to this outcome. We can take a look at it using MetaLab. Additionally, we observe that he is classified into these two categories. One is self-selected upward, and the other is self-taught downward. If you are looking to illustrate with diagrams, you could utilize my previous drawing script with slight adjustments. This has the potential to bring this specific index. This subscript.
Modify the related subscript accordingly.
Maybe change it a little. Including this pop-up violence band. There are two types. One is spin up and one is spin down. And the conduction band and the bottom of the conduction band are also the same, which are divided into two different sets of data. Therefore, after optimizing the performance of electricity, let's proceed with a comprehensive expansion of it. The package expansion operation is the same. Just click this redefine crystal. This is the multiple of the expansion. Now that a certain accuracy has been met, there is no need to expand the larger package. Then after the library package, it is still necessary to make a static self-consistency. Static self-consistency is the same as just mentioned these parameters. Attempt to maintain consistency with the prior set, like this spin type. Previously, if the set was this general, this self-optional, let this of these self-selected initiation rates. Generally speaking, the numerical values must be consistent with the previous calculation of electrical properties, including additional parameters, along with the computation of LDA plus U. Then after finishing this static state, we continue to calculate the Hessian matrix and C-cucumber matrix. Broadly speaking, it is regarded as third order. The result will be more precise. Naturally, you can.
You can set it as the fifth street or the second order as long as you can.
You can feel that the calculation is accurate.
There is no issue. And then take care to alter it to the original package.
A Jenga history quantity, because he automatically generated it himself. He won't write down this Jenga food quantity in the original package. So generally speaking, this line here needs to be changed slightly. That is, you can directly put this line in this file under the static before you originally included the package.
Directly replicate this array to this specific position in the Hessian matrix below. After saving, simply.
After this static self-consistency is over, you can put it into calculation.
Then say it again if it is. Students who use Shanghai Scarlet Letter SAD Cloud.
If you choose this supercomputer in area A of their inner door, their foot file can already be. Have written the content for you.
At this time, just click Run, and it can be directly
run directly without using it. That is, prepare another script file for this submission yourself.
Something to change. He uses a thread number of 40% 28 here, which we can change to 4x6 or other numbers.
Then, what it says here is, to monopolize a node.
If you don't want to monopolize a node, just cancel this line directly. The advantage of monopolizing a node is that you can. Let the memory of this calculation be larger.
because there will be no other tasks to compete with you for the memory of this node.
Then this is a path to their resources.
Generally, they will write it for you. So if you use the inner door area A, these do not need to be changed, but the same is true in Inner Mongolia, but if you use other ones, such as what kind of combination? In the area of parallel calculation, what they may not write about the old religion, and what they write about this book, is not very correct. So if you can use area A, use area A.
Then you can prepare this after finishing this Hessen's evidence.
This calculation of the birth spectrum depends on whether this material is exactly how big is the need to be flat.
This birth spectrum,
it's after the Marine Life Bureau's calculation.
We can order this.
Simulator. Click this another detail and then click this analysis.
And we find this.
Full band. Structure. We can take a little look at its first bottom courtyard. The path of this high symmetry point we chose is from Gam Horse to M to K, and then back. This action is attributed to him. The number of sampling points. If you write a number directly, it means that he puts these 200 points. It should be equally distributed on this path, right?
If you don't want to average the average,
we'll change it inside.
It can be changed to 55, 10, 50.
In essence, as we traverse this path stretching from Karma to M, we find ourselves engaged in a transformative journey. Sprinkle 50 points, and then we sprinkle another 50 points on the road from M to K, and then on the road from K to G, we sprinkle another 50 points. The difference from the previous 200 is the previous 200. He will divide it into 200 small parts, equally according to the length of that journey. Then this 55-10 means just